Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Welcome to the BBC Spews Live. What's the date? It's the 14th of December, huzzah! Right, crikey, there's loads of you in already. Champing at the bit, aren't you? Apparently, I just read a few weeks ago that it's champing, not chomping. Or I read it a long time ago and only remembered. Weird that, isn't it? Champing, is that a word? Apparently it's champing at the bit, not chomping at the bit. So I know that because I've been getting bang into historical fiction and, good war-y stuff like Alexander the Great, Parmenion, the Lion and Macedon. Great stuff, rousing, especially in this day and age because it has relevant lessons for us all. Namely, the Turks have been a massive pain up the arse for 3,000 years. So, funny that, innit? Weird how our leaders have been in denial for millennia. Nice to say that some things never change. Anyway, who's in? John Higginson, now then, Grey Lobster's just joined as a new member. Nice one, Grey Lobster, you are now important to me. Well done. Joking aside, as I've told you many times, rather than giving me a fiver for a pint, I would recommend becoming a member because it seems like the more of them you get, the less shit YouTube throw at you. They decide, oh, look at this, we can skim a percentage off every month like an agent, and therefore they seem to leave you alone more. It's only in the last sort of 6 months or since I turned members on, last 12 months, right? It's been about a year, that they've actually responded to me when I go, what did you ban this for? What did you delete that for? Why is this video being demonetized? So it helps. Thank you, important people. Richie Errington, no, you can't, but once is enough. Cheers. Trev, how you doing? Richie Errington, Grasshopper, Trevor Harris, all right. Who else is in? Kate, thanks for moderating as usual. Stu, now then. Mr. Maximum, all right, mate. John Hunter, and anybody else who I've missed. Yeah, I know I'm a bit late. Ambs, all right, she's in and all. Sorry, don't want to miss anyone. First things first, look at this great story I found on Twitter. Hilarious. I could spend hours just going through the shite I read every day on Twitter. Look at this. Ramses Niblick. Patriotic or perhaps just idiotic, considering it's plastered all over a German car. These people have zero awareness. First things first, knobhead. Everyone on planet Earth knows the BMW is German. Nobody doesn't know that fact. I reckon because most people aren't into politics, more people know that BMW is German than Angela Merkel is German or Klaus Schwab or that the one bollock dictator is Austrian. Or Napoleon's Corsican or Stalin's Georgian. So you can see I've been watching a lot of history stuff lately. I bet you more people know that BMW is German than Merkel. I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't know BMW is German. I think when I was a kid in school, I knew that BMW was German. When I was about 8 and I didn't care. Pretty sure I didn't. I'm pretty sure I was aware of it. So that's a bollocks hot take, as usual, by another shit for brains walkie-talkie. And the comment I made was that, everyone knows BMW is German. That doesn't stop the owner from putting patriotic stickers on his car. If I fly the rainbow flag, do I have to suck a few blokes off? Answers on a postcard. If so, it's a good job I haven't got a rainbow flag anywhere. Oh, also, already sucked a few blokes. Nope, no, I haven't done that. I'm not going to make any gay jokes until we at least make 5 minutes. There we go, we're in 5 minutes. Nice one. Ridiculous that, innit? Ridiculous. Like every American has stickers all over the back of the car. Doesn't matter if the car's a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW or a Mini Cooper. You can still put patriotic shit on your car, can't you? I mean, what non-point? I hate the way they always make non-point the war because they're like brain dead and they haven't got the brains they were born with, these people. They're always making non-points on Twitter every day. You see dumb shit by these people where they think they're being clever as well. That's the thing. When that bloke typed that, he thought he was being clever. Like, he doesn't even know he's driving a German car. He does know he's driving a German car. Normal humans don't find an issue with putting patriotic stickers in, regardless of the nationality of the car manufacturer. Absolute plank. Like do you think all the Americans only shoot American guns? No. The Glock is extremely popular, and it ain't from Kentucky. You absolute log. So that's good. Yeah. Should we just go through Twitter for a bit instead of doing some serious news? Because I've seen loads of good shit on here lately. Here's a brilliant one. I've waited 5 minutes because if you get into the good ones, you have to be a little bit covert about it. Here's a good one. How do I put this new one on? Share this tab. There we are. Look at this one. See, honestly, this is brilliant. This, right? There's a lot of things I didn't expect to happen this year, but chief among them is quite how much effort Alan's lads would put in to actually openly defending Roger and the cousins. Like, they're really going to bat for that. It's so strange to me. The things they could argue for that wouldn't be that easy to mock, if they wanted to talk about like halal and say like, yeah, but there's actually lots of reasons why that's actually good. I'm sure you could come up with like sensible things you could say about many of their cultural practices. And yet for some bizarre reason in the last few years, the only one I've seen them really going to town about is the God-given right to Roger your cousin. The Simpsons took the piss out of it, didn't they? Like where they, some weird hick town, they're always going on about having the right to rattle your cousin. They're going to town, this lot. It's actually unbelievable. So I wanted to share this just to show you a brief bit of it. So let's jump over to YouTube because I'm getting the hang of this YouTube malarkey. It's only took me 4 years. Look at this here. So let's listen to Emily Carver briefing us because there's a bit on this that made me laugh. It's quite long. I have to find it.
It's drawn up in 2022, only 2 years ago, and it describes cousin marriages as a cultural practice and likens it to a cultural practice of white women and couples starting families a little bit later due to liberal values such as preferring jobs, careers, communities.
Here it is. So basically, I'm not even going to dare to respond to some of it because it's so preposterous. There's a large section there where the MCB or whatever, that is the Alan's Lads Council of Britain, got this big thing about saying, oh yeah, but technically ragging someone all over who's got the exact same DNA as you, that's basically the same as one of those horrible white women having kids when they're in the 30s. I was like, is it though? Is it minor, slightly higher risk of problems with the birth of the child because you're past 30 is the same as folding your cousin up? Is it? I don't think so. Chief among the reasons why is if my dad walked in next week and caught me shagging my 30... Oh, no. I hope she's not watching. 35? No. 36. I don't know. Anyway, she's younger than me. If my dad walked in and caught me shagging my missus, who is over the age of 30, next week, he'd be slightly alarmed by it because he doesn't want to see my hairy ass. But he definitely wouldn't be as alarmed as if he walked in on me donkeying one into my cousin. I'm just putting that out there for anyone who thinks that's normal behaviour. And if you don't agree, try it yourself. Try it. There's a Bootneck experiment you can try out. Rattle your post 30-year-old girlfriend or wife, yeah, in front of a selection of familial onlookers, and then try and donkey one into a cousin and see how it goes in. See how it goes in. No, see how it goes on. Don't see how it goes in. I'm only joking. Definitely don't want to see how it goes in if she's got the same DNA as you. You absolute hicks. These people are unbelievable. So listen to this. This is in the Houses of Parliament. I honestly never dreamed I'd see this in my lifetime. And they're just happy to talk about it. And no one will say anything because they're all so cowed. Can you believe? Like, he should have got 20 seconds into this. And someone should have stood up and went, you filthy bastard. Like, honestly. This is what I'm saying why I don't really like Tice or Farage. Because there's so many easy wins for them. And no one will say anything. They're all too polite. It's unbelievable. Someone should have got up and went, Sit down, you scruffy, honking bit of kit. That is unbelievable. You've got the brass neck to talk about Roger and your cousin on the floor of Parliament. Like, what you going to do next? Bring up FGM? Imagine if someone would get up and say it, and it'd be fine, wouldn't it? Oh, well, of course, it's cultural practice to hack a girl's piss flaps off with a sharp stone. It's just part of our culture, isn't it? And they all sit there, very polite. No. Someone should just get up and go, here, sit down before you get hurt, son. How's about that? Sit down. Stop embarrassing yourself. Because this is unbelievable. They aren't normal people, Andrew Cooper. No, they definitely aren't. So, anyway, we'll watch this. I was astounded. Just so, I'm only showing you so you know I'm not making it up.
He said it was seen as something that could help build family bonds and put families on a more secure financial foothold in some communities. He did admit there were health risks for children when it comes to such marriages, but he argued people should be allowed to marry their cousin regardless. Okay, that's nice. In our House of Commons, someone going into bat for first cousin marriage.
Oh, yeah, and then this is the one who argues about the people saying it's just as bad as shagging your 30-year-old missus. Anyway, that was unbelievable. That was exactly what he said. The full thing, it must have been on another GB News video that followed it, but that's exactly what he said. He said, that's fine. For financial reasons. You know what? This is something else that really disgusts me about politicians. I've talked about this before. It always reminds me of a politician from an old David Gemmell book. I talk about him so much, but I've read every book about 8 times at this point. And there's this politician, and he's trying to talk Druss into not winding someone up and sort of kowtowing to some ambassador. And he's like, why? Give me one good reason. And he's like, think of the coin. And for a minute, he thinks, when he talks of the cost, he thinks he's talking about human suffering. Like, for a minute, he's almost tempted to kowtow because he's like, oh yeah, the cost, the human cost, the suffering cost, the misery, and the dead children and the widows. But then he goes, sorry, cost. And he goes, yeah, think of all the coin. Think of all the coin. And that was an old wise writer like Dave talking about the scum that lead us. Because to them, all they care about is cost. It's all they care about. The fact that he gets up and goes, oh yeah, it might be for financial reasons, you might have a cousin living in Bangladesh and you want to bring them over to Luton so they can get a free council house. So then it's all right, innit? Free Gibbs. Free Gibbs makes it all right. No, it doesn't make it all right. Doesn't make it all right. This is what I've told you loads of times. Be incorruptible. I'm incorruptible, me. It's not possible. I've conditioned my mindset. So money does not motivate me. My current job, working for the big fella, every year you're there, you get a massive stock payout. Like, it's to keep you there because they work the arse off you. I'm not going to be a long-term employee because I'm more interested in time than money. If I stayed there, I could make a shitload of money. And I'm not going to. I'm going to get to the point where I think I'm comfortable and then I'm going to work part-time because you can always make more money. And it doesn't interest me. There's nothing I want. If they were to say to me, I'll tell you what, sign on the dotted line for 10 years and we'll give you $10 million. I'd be like, no, you're all right. I don't want it. I don't want it. But I make good money now and I drive a piece of shit. My car, like, it's funny working at a company like SpaceX because you go into the car park and everyone's driving like brand new Teslas and shit. And I'm like, chitty chitty bang bang. And I've hit about 4 deer in it. It looks like the wheels are falling off. I'm not motivated by these things. You've got to train yourself. I don't wear nice clothes. I got issued this t-shirt about 23 years ago. Like, I don't care. I don't care. And that's what you have to be. If you can convince yourself that all you need is what you've already got, then they can't buy you, can they? They can't buy you. It's impossible because you're already wealthy. All I need is a bit of food and a bit of water and a bit of shelter, and I've got all of them. It's easy. And these scumbag politicians, all they ever think about is money. Imagine sitting there with a straight face and saying, "Can I bum me? Can I bum me cousin? Why? Oh, because it makes financial sense." They always say it, don't they? And Jess Phillips does. Oh, it makes economic sense. If it makes economic sense, go and suck Boy George off. You know? It's like, this is the way they talk. Like, if it really makes economic sense, would you go and suck baby gravy out of Elton John's ring piece for 10 million quid? Although, I suppose it's no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. This is what I'm getting at. Who cares? Aren't the armpits like, no, we must use good fabric softener in my house. Oh no, I've got a bit of sweat there. I have been doing a bit of pottering around the house. I apologise for showing you my sweaty armpit there. But no, they're in pretty good nick. These Al Puss's shirts. It's unbelievable, man. And it's just politicians. The scum. The other thing that really, really irritates me is, because now this blew my mind originally, but then I sort of thought about the numbers, and then it made sense all of a sudden. And it was because they are obsessed about coin, but the one aspect that they aren't obsessed about coin is mass migration in it, because they know that all the people we move in are a massive drain on resources, but they do it anyway. So you go, well, why then? If coin, money is the root of all evil. If coin is the reason that these scumbag politicians are driven to do anything, why do they suddenly act like they don't care about coin? And you know what it is? It's the all-consuming ideology of wokeism. Because what's clear to me, and I think I made this point when I was talking about Hollywood a couple of years ago, it sank in with me in 2023. I made a video, I think it was the very end of 2022, called 2023 is the year that killed cinema. And I was obviously proven right because it was appalling. Everything they released was shite, right? And that's when it sank in that because it's like a religion, you know, a full-blown religious zealot, someone that is consumed by an ideology, right? They don't even care about their own life, do they? This is what our eternal enemies going all the way back millennia, right? I.e., not just the followers of Alan, the regulars at Alan's world-famous snack bar, but their forebears. As I said, going back to Alexander the Great, these people have been our enemies for millennia. And what they've proved in the last few thousand, obviously because Islam's only, 1,400 years old, is that they really do care more about their ideology than their lives, than their very lives. They brag about it, don't they? They say, we love death more than you love life because you're not one of us. You're not interested in our cult. They brag about the fact that they're more interested in crushing the infidels than they are about anything else. So the point I'm making there is, if you're obsessed with what is essentially a modern religion, of course they don't care about money. And I made this point talking about how Hollywood had realised that the woke movies were terrible and nobody likes them. If you haven't subscribed to the Despot of Antrim, go and check out my old pal Despot, because he's made some class videos, and it's obvious that nobody likes watching this shite, but they're still making it, knowing that they're going to lose money, because it's a religion, it's a cult. When you're in a religious cult, you don't care about anything else. If you're willing to blow your own plums off, why would you care about your life? If you want to blow your own plums off and expend your very life's blood in pursuit of an ideology, why do you care about a bit of money? And that's when it sank in. All they care about is coin, unless it's related to their toxic religious ideology. And then they don't mind money, do they? Because the one obvious thing I've seen there is they'll happily throw billions down the drain in pursuit of their ideology. Amazon made a second season of Rings of Power. They knew they were going to lose money. They knew they were going to lose money. But they did it anyway because they don't care about money. Because if you're in a religion, your religion's all that matters. If you're a devout believer, you don't care about money. And our overlords, if you crunch the numbers, it's actually unbelievable. They care more about the agenda than they do about coin, and that's the only thing, because they're going to tax the ever-living balls off everyone, and the farmers, and the businessmen. I'm just going to see if I can find a chart quickly on Twitter, because I found one. Here we are. Sam Athwas here. He's a good one. So this is what I'm saying about how you can see the proof that they don't care about money anymore. It's migrants absolutely drain money from the public purse. From 1995 to 2011, non-EU migrants cost the UK 118 billion, about 17% of the deficit over that period. The British state offers vast subsidies to the low-skilled of the entire world. We pay for it. It's got to change. And there's the numbers. Zara Sultana. Absolute shite. She's got the brains of a sultana. Zara Sultana would lose a pub quiz to a glass of fucking jizz. The woman is an absolute plank. Like all socialists, because again, they're enthralled to a religion. It doesn't matter. They're the only people where you show them evidence and they don't care. This is why everybody's calling it a cult. This is why everybody's calling it a religion. Another good example, it's like creationists in America. You've all seen them because it's a religion. When you say we're creationists, yeah, but the world isn't 6,000 years old because we've got the fossil record, because we've got radiometric dating, because they go, nah. What do a few old bones prove? That's what one said on my door. When I was a teenager and I was arguing, because I was chippy atheist when I was a young man, arguing with I feel guilty as a result. I'm sort of like an agnostic with a nice hearty dose of enthusiasm and affection for Christianity now. Like I'm not a militant atheist. I'm not a believer. I can't make myself believe it after reading the alternatives for 45 years. But I have a big soft spot for Christianity now, and I certainly wouldn't disparage people's belief in it because I had such a good childhood. That's another thing what I don't mention very often. I have a soft spot for it because I had such a good childhood. We used to do hymn practice every Friday when I was a bairn, and I didn't like it at the time, and now I find myself enjoying the hymns and thinking about the nice things the churches used to do in my youth. So I don't believe in it personally, but when I was young, I was a chippy atheist as a result, and when they say the Earth's only 6,000 years old, and you say, yeah, but what about X, Y, and Z? They say, I don't care. And I said that to a bird once, like, what about, dinosaur bones? And she actually said to me, yeah, few old bones don't prove anything. And I was like, don't they though? Like, a few old bones don't prove anything. If there's a bone in my back garden, something put it there. Either it died and left its own bones there, or a creature of some kind left it there. You can't say bones don't prove anything. And when you say that to them, they say, who cares? Who cares? That's what they're like. You can show them the evidence as clear as day. That is irrefutable evidence. And as I've said, it also passes the common sense test because you don't pay hardly any taxes when you're a bin man. I was working at Games Workshop back in the day. I was earning like 30 grand a year. It was nout. And my tax bill was now for the year. My tax bill was about 7k a year or something. If you're only paying 7k a year in tax, but you occasionally use services, you're basically breaking even, aren't you? I think anyone knows if you're actually going to pay in, you need to be at about 40 grand a year, don't you? I was probably less than most because I never ever go to the doctor, never ever signed on. I've never ever signed on. I've never had council tax benefit. I've never had any benefit of any kind ever off the British taxpayer. Don't go to the doctor, don't go to the dentist, don't phone the police, don't use the fire department, don't do anything. And you're still going to be about breaking even. So how the fuck does importing an illiterate goat herder from Somalia, who Oh, hang on. Moderators, look, someone's constantly gobbing off about jerking off there. There we are. Got rid of her. I'm far too old for that. I don't want to be reminded that my genitals are more or less fossilised. The aforementioned fossil record down me pants. I'm 45. So, like, think about it. Net contribution, you need to be pretty high. I don't think it's that high. There's no way. Like I said to you, I always go with the common sense test. It can't be that high, because that means I've never, ever contributed anything. And I'm pretty sure if I was making 37 grand a year and I don't have kids in school and I don't go to the doctors and the dentist and I pay me council tax in full, so I'm paying for the bin men, and I hardly drive anywhere, and I don't see what I'm costing if I'm earning a decent lump. But what I'm getting at is, yeah, the point is a decent one. It's only middle and upper earners that actually spend any money and contribute to the system. So you don't even need to see the actual numbers if you're not Zara Sultana. You know for a fact that a shit for brains from Bangladesh who spends probably is on benefits, more than likely his wife is definitely on benefits because they don't let him work, and he's a shelf stacker in Tesco. Nothing. You're a drain. You're a drain. And then they have loads of kids. Drain. Our schools are educating them. Massive drain. So, yeah, well, that's the point I'm making, what Richie's saying there. If you make 60 or 70 grand a year in the UK, you pay massive amounts of tax, so I don't think it has to be that high. Shit, I told you, when I was working at G-Dubs, I got a paltry 5 grand bonus and they took like half of it off me. If they just give them 2,500 quid right off the bat, surely I'm in the green. But whatever I'm getting at, the point is, yeah, we agree more or less. You have to be a decent earner to be a net payer. And Zara Sultana's like, oh yeah, you know what the real problem is? Tax dodging. It isn't. And the other point is, you shit for brains communist, right? Migrants don't drain billions to the public taxes. No. Migrant dodgers. Migrants cost hundreds of billions of pounds in the last decade. That's how much migrants cost us. Sultana brain. A sultana is bigger than a brain. So that's just flat out wrong, and everybody knows it. Migrants definitely do drain billions from the public purse. And tax dodgers, even if they dodge tax, do contribute to the public purse because they create companies that pay money. And when you employ people in the UK, they have to chip in anyway. Even if they personally dodge income tax, their company pays. You have to match the national insurance contributions of every employee, don't you? You have to pay taxes. They're net contributors. Public servants are a drain. You know who else is a drain, Zara? You, love. You. You're a massive drain on resources, and your inbred pot-bellied dwarf family are also tax drains, you absolute log. Honestly, I hate Zara Sultana so much. Not just because, obviously, she's a product of gibbering inbred simpletons, but because she would lose an IQ test to a rice pudding. Okay? They don't drive down wages or exploit workers. Greedy bosses do. No, you know who drives down wages? You do. You do. Politicians, British MPs. They're lunatics that they are. Rachel from Accounts, the thickest sack of carrots that I've ever had the misfortune to see in high office in my lifetime. Definitely she's the thickest, Rachel Reeves. I made videos about her years ago. She is as thick as two short planks, Rachel Reeves. She's as thick as a doctor's sandwich, dried out whale spunk, whatever you want to use. Unbelievably dense. And she's now the Chancellor of the Exchequer. So the economy is knackered. It might not have really pinched yet because it takes a while, but trust me, the British economy is knackered. The one way you definitely do drive down wages is by only giving massive pay rises to the public sector. because that's the public purse. And the week they came in, that started taxing farmers and making everybody miserable. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's a paltry amount. The amount of income tax they'll get from that inheritance tax of farmers is probably going to be in the hundreds of millions. And on the first week, they gave billions to the public sector, billions to their paymasters in the unions, billions and billions of pounds. And the receipts coming in are minuscule. And every week, rich people foxtrot Oscar back to the continent because they don't want to get rinsed by the stormtrooper and Rachel from accounts, who, frankly, if she hadn't gobbled away into politics, would be working as a cleaner. And she'd be a shit cleaner because she probably couldn't turn the vacuum on. She'd be like, hey, this don't work very well. You need to plug it in, Rachel, you fucking dumb slut. Honestly, it staggers me. It staggers me that even if you're a lifelong Labour voter, you'd put a tick in the box when you knew Rachel from accounts was going to be in charge of the public purse. It's unbelievable. I'd rather trust Ginger from Casino. If I met a prostitute in a casino in Las Vegas who clearly had a drug problem, and she was like, hey, I'll suck your cock for some chips. She, not Middlesbrough chips, you know. In Middlesbrough, the birds suck you off for a bag of chips. In Las Vegas casinos, they want poker chips. Right? I'm on about them ones. I'd rather trust her with the public finances. A crack whore with a drug problem in a casino. I'd rather trust her because she's absolutely shocking. She's absolutely shocking, Rachel Reeves. So you're in serious trouble. This is what I'm telling you. Like, all jokes aside, start putting money away. Rations in your garage. Potable water. You need to be looking after yourselves because it's properly going to get bad. Every decision Rachel Reeves has made is draining the fucking already empty coffers. So this time next year, or 2026 or 2027, it's going to bite. Eventually, they're going to not be able to print more money and just keep borrowing money. And then the IMF's going to get involved. And then essentially, we're going to have a nation version of the bailiffs coming round and smashing your shitter up with a hammer. Because Rachel Reeves is worse with money than Ginger from Casino. She is just awful. And everything they do wrecks the economy. Also, they don't starve schools or hospitals or funding political choices do. Print more money then, that'll help. Print more money, that'll help. Labour won't defeat the far right by parroting this. Have you know everyone's far right now? Everyone. You remember in the good old days when there was an actual far right? An actual one who used to say mad stuff that I disagreed with. Remember them? Remember those people? Like everyone, they'd say things like, everyone who was ever born abroad should be instantly deported. Now, all right, before Sadwings or Ragnar jump in, I'm not saying I can't see there's at least some merit to the argument, but I still maintain that until things get truly appalling, I wouldn't broad brush deport absolutely everyone that was ever born abroad. I think maybe, you know what I'd do at this point? I keep moving, right? I think I'd move in like a sort of staggered time rule, like anyone from born abroad who moved to the UK since 2004 or something. You know, like when Blair started just opened the borders to everyone, didn't do any background checks. Anyone who's got the papers stamped by our activist Home Office, which was conquered in about 2006. Stuff like that. I wouldn't just get everyone. Like I said, there's lads who lived in the UK for 30 years and never once been arrested or got a parking ticket and have paid taxes their whole lives. Like, those people can stay. I don't care. So, you know, if someone like Nick Griffin made that argument, I'd say, yeah, I said I agree with the spirit of it. We need to deport a few million, but I'm not going to just instantly, because this is what my point with it, what I say to the proper far right, is that's too far because you're being a collectivist like the communists and the woke are, and I hate collectivism, like massively hate collectivism. So I wouldn't do it like that. I'd do it based off tangible metrics you can check. You can check your income tax receipts. We can check your benefits payments. We can check your criminal record. We can check how many parking tickets you've had. Like, I wouldn't deport a bloke who was born in, I don't know, Samoa and moved to the UK in 2003, and in all this time has never once got a parking ticket or been arrested, and he's actually worked in the private sector for 21 years. Because if you think about it, you're doing the same thing as Rachel Reeves if you're that much of a collectivist, aren't you? Because they're going to wreck the economy by driving wealth creators away. And what I'm saying is we need to attract them. So I wouldn't take in low-paid foreign labourers. I wouldn't. But I wouldn't deport foreign-born millionaires that own businesses, pay massive amounts of tax and create wealth. I'd do it by metrics. And then you'd get rid of millions of foreigners, but you'd actually make us some money. Anyone who's ever been arrested, I'll say that, anyone who's ever been arrested and found guilty of anything worse than a parking ticket, who wasn't born in the UK, I don't care how long they've been there, strip them of the citizenship, deport them. Again, they call that now because they've managed to move the Overton window and we've got activists running the Home Office and the media and the government. They managed to call that far right. You know what I'm saying? Far right is round up every single person that's got a bit of a tan and deport them. That's far right. Me saying, no, I definitely wouldn't do that to people that were productive. I'd only deport people that had been found guilty of crimes or came to the UK illegally or were a net drain on public resources. I'd only deport all of them. Now they call that far right, don't they? And that's my problem. It's like words used to mean something. That's a good comment from Davy Boy the Codhead. Make homosexuality compulsory. That'll get rid of him. The only problem with that is, you know, I'm willing to think, I do think I love my country enough that I'd be willing to get bummed 4 or 5 times to get border integrity sorted out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I love my country enough that if someone said, right, Matty, we're going to get you bummed by like 12 Somalian pirates, and then if you do that, we will enforce the border rigorously, I think I'd bite a piece of boiled leather and allow myself to have a bit of a limp for the next 6 weeks. But I don't think it'd work. Not everybody's as patriotic as me, unfortunately. Yeah, what, the purple-headed one-eyed pirate. So, yeah, but it's mad, innit? They say that's... now they say totally normal opinions. Like, just think about it. Like, deport foreign criminals. They think that's far right. I was like, if that's far right, everything's far right. If deport foreign criminals is far right, and they're doing it in America, aren't they? Because people say, oh yeah, deport this Mexican illegal immigrant who's just got caught for drink driving. And they go, far right. Far right. It's not far right. Deport foreign criminals is like probably supported by 80% of the country. Innit? Oh shit, I've got loads of super chats here. Hang on, what's this lot say? Richie Jenkins, is a kebab shop the Viagra for Alan's boy? It probably is. The smell of trolley roasted lamb. If it wasn't for the kids, I'd be out of the UK. We are ran by donkeys. 100%, Richard. Thanks for the super chats. Louise Owen, farmers are riled. If you don't want the monster, don't pull the lever. Well, as I said, people have got a right to be not just angry, apoplectic with rage. Like, seriously, if I had my way, Starmer would be getting tried for treason and if found guilty, the electric chair. Because again, the public supports the death penalty, don't they? If we put it to a referendum, I don't think is that far right? Is saying, I reckon we should enact the will of the general public. Is that far right? How can it be if everyone agrees with it? And it's not extreme, is it? And I reckon you'd get more than 50% of the country to sign off on the death penalty now. I definitely do. That piece of shit, Axel Rudu Kanubu, killing little girls. Seeing them photos of those bairns getting treated with all these stab wounds on the pavement boiled my blood in a way that I haven't seen for many years. I think the general public would support just both barrels. Axel, come here, son. Let's save the taxpayers some money. I mean, again, I'm not a savage. You have to have a trial and a jury and go through the process and get all the evidence, even though he admits it and he rocked up in front of 25 witnesses and happily did it in front of loads of people and everybody knows he did it. But, still go through the formality of a trial and then do the world a favour and put him out of his misery and me out of mine. And as I said, you can do this stuff for free. I hate that. Don't get me started on the death penalty again, because you'll get me raged. Diane Abbott said migrants contribute 7 and 12 trillion. Yeah, they're a drain. They're a leech. A parasite. Don't get me started on the death penalty, because that's another... I hate that one when they think they've got you. They go, actually, costs $2 billion to put someone to death. Actually. No, it doesn't. I'll do it in a bath. I wouldn't even... It'd be totally free. Drown them in the bath. What's that going to cost? I'll tell you what. I'll even avoid the water rates, because I'll do it in a barrel. Put a barrel in my back garden, leave it out there for 6 weeks, it'll be full of water, and then bring the prisoners in once a month on a Friday, and I will upend them in my trusty barrel. Right? And do this for free, zero cost to the taxpayer. I will consider it my public duty, and I'll sleep like a baby. You don't need to pay an execution. I'll do it for free. I'll fly home once a month to upend them in my barrel of joy, right? The barrel of delight, free to the taxpayer. I'll do the upending. Easy. How's that? 2 million per execution. Sadwings, thanks very much, mate. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. I love Christmas, me. I'll be doing some more streams over Christmas. I'm a very festive chap. Again, because I have good memories of my youth, of Christmas. It's mad. I can't believe people go on about the cost. The cost of a barrel of hogging, absolutely nout. State executions, and as I said, put it on the telly, televise them like on the Hunger Games. You could make revenue. You could text in who's getting it next. I've joked about it before. You'd make loads of money, wouldn't you? I'd be like, welcome to the Friday executions with your host, the Angry Bootneck. Hello. And his special guest, Barrel of Death. Wheel the barrel in. There we go. We just get people who are doing hard time to wheel the barrel in. They don't deserve the barrel, but they can carry the barrel. The bank robbers and that. Scousers who rob post offices. I'd just have them doing hard manual labour. And then I'd come out and I'd ask, text Huntley. Who are we going to do this Friday? Text Philpott to 7117. Text Huntley 7118. Text Anton Deck. Oh no, they haven't done anything wrong. They're just annoying. It's easy. So not only would I not cost you any money, I'd generate revenue for the victim's family. Easy. All right. Let's talk about something else. It's not Zarathil, just talking absolute bollocks. Let's find us some news. Some actual news. Oh yeah, there's one. This fella. Oh my God. We're back on Crime and Punishment, but I can't avoid it. This fella, right? Obviously, he's named after everybody's favourite puke-skinned epileptic dwarf. Jailed today for donkeying. I don't even want to go on about it too much, and I don't want to get demonetised from this godforsaken platform, but basically, full-blown surprise sex till someone dies. So that's how much of a degenerate this fella is, right? 10 year and 8 months. He's a killer. He's a surprise sex murder hobo from a foreign nation. And he ragged her till she died. And he'll be out in 5 years. And they just jailed a fella for having a bit of a riot for 14. I think he got like 11 year and 3 on licence. So there it is. This is what I'm saying. Like, they're in thrall to a toxic brain cancer. If you look like that and you're surprise sex people to death, you get out in 5 years. 5. You get 5 years for armed robbery. The aforementioned Scouser robbing the post office gets longer in the jailhouse than this fella because he looks a certain way, because the lunatics that run the world are obsessed and have been consumed by a toxic ideology. It's disgraceful. Joe will join me, Mr. Bootneck. Lol, okay, I don't know. Join me where? In the dealing with the miscreants in the magic barrel. Anyway, thanks, Joe. And Slim, same again. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'll do some more streams over the Christmas period. And Richie Ayrton, the park bench. Yeah, oh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Actually, that reminds me. You know what I could show you while I'm on? I'll put a festive picture up so I don't have to keep looking at this bloke's face. Because honestly, it offends me more than I can put into words. I cannot believe you get 5. Basically, it's murder, innit? You can see he didn't mean to kill her, but manslaughter is like, you know, drunk driving or something. Like, if you're a full-blown pervy, foreign, surprise sex adherent, and you do that to a young woman, and you do it for hard enough and long enough that she dies, that it's got to be like second-degree murder or something. That's murder. And he should never get out, ever. Ideally, the barrel. Roll out the barrel, Scouse post office chap. Ideally, the barrel. But at the very minimum, 30 years breaking rocks, right? It needs to mean something. 5 years, Christ almighty. If you take up my service career, I was almost deployed for 5 years. It's just disgraceful. I don't understand how it doesn't get people proper raged. Like, raged enough where you're going to take to the streets, regardless of the fact that they'll lock you up for much, much longer than the surprise sex fellas will get for it. Hey, look, this is some... I'll show you this, look. There's some of my Christmas cards I made. These are old, these now. I've actually got much better at drawing. Over... Can I make it a bit bigger? Yeah, there we are, look. That was one, I think the first time I drew one of them was out in Afghanistan. It was like, put them on the wall, make the lads laugh during Christmas. There's that one. That's the snowman made out of sand. Obviously, he's got a stick of dynamite for his nose. What else did I do? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there's Santa, look. Pretty good, isn't it? Obviously, I pinched that idea off South Park. Because you know South Park where they strap all of the black lads to the tanks and planes. There's a Santa with his delivering presents to the lads in Afghanistan. Pinched that off South Park. What else did I do? There's Christmas dinner in the sandbox. Obviously, there's the mayor. That was me having Christmas dinner with the mayor of Kajaki. And he serves up a goat swede on the plate. I know technically they don't celebrate Christmas out there, but it's a goat's head with a spinal column. Whoops. Is it still on? Hopefully, I pressed back on the wrong window there. What else have I got? The best one's not up anymore. Oh, there it is, the Christmas tree one. There's the sledging. There we are. That's sledging. I did a few of them. It was that goat's head. Yeah, the goat's head. There's the sledging one I did. And then I think I did one more. Oh, no, two more. I did Christmas. There's them taking out Santa. Can't see it as good on here. I think if you look closely on that one's got a Christmas list. It says Dear Santa, AK-47 grenades Uzi, and that's why those two lads on the deck are shitting themselves, because they're writing a Christmas list for Santa, and that bloke's about to take him out with a surface-to-air missile launcher. So that's the crack with that one. And then the last one was, which was I thought was the best original idea I had because I didn't pinch this from anywhere. That was the Christmas tree. And what you'll see I did there, which is cunning, is I obviously made the bootneck a black fella to try and avoid any claims of prejudice. And I tried to make a Kickstarter with it back in the day, and the bandit and said, no, it's xenophobic. I was like, it's the Taliban. Like, I made sure they were always clad in black, and then they all have, like, turbans on and that. So they're the Taliban, and they've all got AK-47s. So it's fine in it. It's not a prejudice against any group other than the Taliban. And last I checked, the Taliban were still the enemy. So, yeah, that's that. I have got better at drawing in over recent months. Who else? Mr. Viking, this channel is awesome. I'm not alone in this. Thanks very much, mate. Soubird, roll out the barrel. Yep, that's a good plan, that. Send the crap out. I have space in my outhouse. Go perfectly well in an outhouse. And Louise, I see manky sandal. Yeah, manky. Clearly a borough lass. Manky sandals. So that's that. Just a bit of crack in it. Have we got time for one more story? I just wanted to get away from that appalling story about that full-blown sexual deviant murderer getting 5 years in prison. It's unbelievable. What can you say about that other than I can't believe that we accept it? I can't believe that we stand for it. I really can't. And as I've said before, I made a tweet about it last week talking about not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. I know Reform have got all kinds of problems. As I've said, Farage and Tice are nowhere near rough enough. If they were worth a wank, they would be ripping the piss out of anyone who stands up with a straight face in the Houses of Parliament and saying, yeah, but only Roger and his cousin. They'd stand up and say, listen, savage, that might be acceptable where you're from, but in the UK, it isn't. We don't do things like that. Bumming our relatives ain't on the agenda in the UK. So that's just the way it is. If Tice and Farage had the stones, they'd have said it. But just because they're not that good, well, they're not that bad. I think on immigration, they would at least deport someone, right, which is better than where we're at. On the economy, they'd be more Thatcherite and they'd encourage innovation and investment in the private sector and not throw money at the public sector, which just drives up inflation and bankrupts us. There's loads of problems with them, but it's 10 times better than the alternative. So you've got to support them, ultimately. And again, I know I disagree with a lot of you there, but yeah, see, the gatekeepers, they are, but what's the alternative? Like, there's nothing even close to waiting in the wings. There is no Trump in Britain. Find one and have them get more than 1% of the vote, and then I'll start advocating for them. But there's nothing even close to an alternative in the UK as it stands. So I just wish the right were as good at uniting as the lefty commie rats are. Because if we just constantly go, he's not good enough, he's not good. I don't even like Tice. I told you, I don't like Tice at all. I think he's a prick. He's a posh twat and he's insulting. But I'd rather get him in and get Starmer out. Unless you just want to be an accelerationist for like another 10 years till the whole country's completely in ruins and we have a full-scale civil war and there's like violence in the streets and you can't leave the house without getting accosted by a gang of Bangladeshis. You know what I mean? I'm an accelerationist to a point, but I'd stick with Tyson them and just hope for the best. Something akin to a process to remove people and lock criminal scum up for 25 years at a time. So it is what it is. Anyway, there's nearly an hour then, so I'm going to do one. I'm going to go and have breakfast with my missus because it's still early over here. Although the sun's out because that's the one good thing about living in California. Right, so that'll have to do you. Thanks for tuning in for the live stream. I've got over 1,050 people watching there, according to StreamYard. I think that's a new record. I don't even think GB News get 1,000 people watching, do they? This makes me think everyone buys subscribers, because I've still got a paltry 60,000, but my videos always get about 30 and my live streams get over 1K every time. So people must be buying them. Me, not bothered about that. Not bothered about a load of Chinese farmers. I'm bothered about you lot and the British and the Americans and the Aussies and basically the Anglosphere is all I care about. And then if I really have to be bothered, then I suppose I'll start going towards all of Europe as a whole. But to me, at the end of the day, like I've said many times before, it's logical and sensible and reasonable to care about your own, your friends and your family, your nearest and dearest, and then your town, and then your city, and then your country, and then your continent, more than it is to care about random strangers from the third world. And if saying that makes me a fucking maniac, according to Zara Sultana, well, so be it, okay? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you all very soon. And, yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of it. Don't go mental. Stiff up a lip. Sense of humour and adversity, all right? We'll keep laughing. They can't stop us doing that. See you all soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.